Okay, so that is my two earliest experiences with death. One happened at 12, and then the other one happened at like 16, 17 years old. So those were two totally different times in my life. It was two totally different realities. One happened on the East Coast, one happened in the Midwest. One was a relative and one was a friend. But I loved them both the same. You know what I'm saying? But the experience was completely different. So if you could just take a moment to think about maybe the different journeys that you have had with death, and how they have been different, and how you have been able to heal, or at least get to a point of acceptance. I think that would help a lot. I think that would help you understand that death is a transition. It is not a finale. That's not the end all be all. And I feel like this is a conversation that needs to be brought to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Although I have had other experiences with death, I kind of just want to fast forward us to kind of like 2022. Like, I want to fast forward to a more significant experience with death. 2022 was just like a weird year for me. 2021 going into 2022 was a weird year for me. Just everything was off. I was a functioning depressive, like I was depressed, but I was still able to get up and go to work because I was so stuck into the idea of like, bills got to be paid or we going to be out on the street. You know what I'm saying? And I was, doing extracurricular activities, doing things with my life that I shouldn't have been doing. But it was an off year. Not only was it an off year, like for the whole collective because of COVID, but it was just an off year for me emotionally. I just kept on having weird dreams, just weird feelings. I started getting a lot of anxiety, which later on I found out that anxiety was me feeling the energy of spirits. And it's like, use your own discernment. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that I say is not for everybody. It's for me. It doesn't have to be for everybody, but some people will be able to resonate with this. Yeah, I remember getting really bad anxiety because I just remember feeling like, not like an impending doom. I just remember feeling like something was off, something was different. And again, this me now knows that I had shifted timelines. I had shifted into a really dark timeline. And that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother podcast, because how I got into that timeline is very interesting. Like, somebody in this lifetime clipped my wings, which is interesting because I found out last night with Chat GPT, and I'm not big on Chat GPT, child, but I'm getting into it because AI is either going to be Ken or an enemy, and we kind of want AI to be Ken. So I found out last night on Chat GPT that some allegedly I existed during Atlantean time, and that somebody may have betrayed me during that time, and they are showing up again in this lifetime. So I found that interesting because a reading that I had got, the reader had told me that somebody in this lifetime, somebody clipped my wings and they're with me in this lifetime. So I think those two resonate. But anyway, it was a really weird year for me. I was on a dark path. I was just doing weird shit. And then all of this, I might have to bleep that out. And then all of the sudden, I'm like, well, let me take a trip to New York, a random trip to New York, hang out with who apparently was my best friend then, who is not my best friend now. But let me take a trip to New York. Let me celebrate my birthday. This is October. October is my favorite time of the year. Halloween is my favorite holiday. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fall baby. So I'm like, let me go home. Let me go to New York. Let me celebrate my birthday. Let me go see my parents and let me have a good time. So, I plan all these things, and like a couple of days before I go to New York, I have the weirdest experience. It's like an outer body experience. I had sleep paralysis. And those of you who have sleep paralysis, you know that your body gets stuck. You can't move it. You're consciously aware, or at least you should be, but your body won't move. And I remember having a weird dream about being in like an old time, but having like this big, beautiful house and this big door knocker. And I remember somebody coming to the door and using the door knocker, but for some reason I wouldn't answer the door. Now, the room that I was in Florida, where I was having this sleep paralysis, because I've had sleep paralysis like all my life. Like, it doesn't scare me because, again, naturally, intuitively, I've just known that sleep paralysis, you can get out of it. It's not something you should be afraid of. You're in the in between. You know what I'm saying? You could be over there doing something and not wanting to return to your body, or it could be something that you're doing over there with spirit or whatever, and you have to finish it up, and that's the reason why you're in the in between. Use your own discernment. But they couldn't, I didn't open the door. So the way that these people were able to like get my attention, they started saying ma'am, ma'am, ma'am through my window. Now, my room in Florida, my window was low, so it was like the level of my bed. So I was sleeping in my bed and I was having sleep paralysis, but I was able to turn my head to the side. So I was looking out my actual window, but I was seeing this alert from the police, because it was actually police from like an old timeline that was trying to wake me up and alert me to something. And then finally I snapped out of it. And then I went to the cards. Then I went to the tarot cards, because I'm like, okay, I had never used tarot cards personally for any personal experiences. I had got that deck. The person that I was dating at the time was like afraid of tarot. So she was like, please don't do that. So I had to put it away. I couldn't really invest my time into it. But after having that dream and having that sleep paralysis, I was like, oh no, something got to give. And immediately the justice card came out, the death card came out, and it was another card. It was two other cards that came out. And it was just an eerie feeling. And when I saw the justice card, because this was the deck from Five and Below. So anybody that got like the starter tarot deck from Five and Below, you know what their justice card looked like. It was like a police officer or something on it, or like something that had to do with law enforcement. And immediately I was like, it was just off. It was eerie. I was like, okay, so what's going on? The first thing I started asking was like, well, what does this have to do with me? You know what I'm saying? Because again, I was new to tarot. I didn't know what I was doing. So, you know, I'm Googling, I'm figuring out what the cards mean. And I'm like, okay, nobody's sick. You know, nobody moved. Nobody get hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody's good. I'm going back home to the town and we're good. But much to my surprise, I get home, I'm having a good time. You know, I had a good time with my mom. I done hung out with her and I'm like, all right, let me go over to Jersey. Let me go hang with my best friend. The minute I passed the sign, because those of you who have driven from New York to Jersey, you know it's a sign that says welcome to New Jersey. It's the border. The minute I rolled past that sign, I got a phone call. I'm like, why is my mom calling me? I just left her. You feel me? It's like 7, 8 o'clock at night. I'm trying to hurry up and get to Jersey because I don't like driving at night. It's kind of hard for me to see whatever. I pick up the phone, baby. When I tell you I've never heard somebody scream so loud. Anybody who has ever experienced somebody having to call them and tell them that somebody was found dead, she screamed so loud, I knew something was off. I had to scream at my mother to tell her to calm down so that she could tell me what was going on, because I just knew something was off. And she was like, oh, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. They found him dead. Mind you, I'm thinking she talking about her man, because who else would she be talking about, child? Like, my father is good. And child, wait until we get to the story about how I found out about my father. But I'm like, my father is good. My stepdad is good. You feel me? Because my stepdad was the one in New York. So I'm like, what does this have to do with me? So she's like, no, it's Kevin. They found him. They found him. They found him. Whatever the case may be. And like, my heart dropped. I had to immediately get off at the next exit, turn around, and go back to New York. And that was my second experience. And I didn't get to grieve because I planned the whole funeral. I had to put on the face. I had to be the strength. You know what I'm saying? Because like, it wasn't time for grief. And we're going to have to do a to be continued, because this is like 30 minutes. And we haven't even scratched the surface. But let me know how y'all feel. It's the Medicine Witch.